Shalom, 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 family. I won't be long before you today. I hope everybody is abounding in this truth, right? I have a video. The name of it is "Unspoken History of Native American Indians Colonization." This video also goes into the Hispanians, so-called Spaniards, Puerto Ricans, and things of that nature. This video is 2 hours, family, so this gonna be in pieces, and we won't get all of this in 1 week or 1 day. You know, I'm gonna do this over time because it's very interesting. Or you guys can go and watch it for yourself. But let's go ahead and begin, and I'm gonna be bringing a few things out while I play.
Please pay full attention. The first speaker we'll have for this evening is Taino Palermo from Roger Williams University.
Great, thank you. So as John said, my name is Taino Palermo, Amaguatu, Cacican of the Baramaya Guanilla clan in the Guanilla region of Borinquen, which is known to many today as Ponce, Puerto Rico.
So this brother knows he's not Puerto Rican. His original name before he was a conqueror, right? Now, of course, we know the Most High calls us Israelites, but what he's saying is what they called him, meaning within his own family, Taino Indians. That's the original name for the so-called Puerto Ricans, right? Before Puerto Rico was placed on them, that's what they were called, for lack of better terms, so everybody understands, right?
And what I wanted to run through today was a very, the Tainos as a population exist in very few artifacts and mostly through oral history.
And mostly throughout all history. Now, he's going to further elaborate, but we all know Israel was scattered abroad, right? You can get that in Joel 3 and 2.
We hosted a indigenous peoples conference last year and had Cacique Guanaqueyu, who is one of the last few predominantly full-blooded Tainos living today. Is over 60% Taino blood, indigenous blood to North America.
Now, of course, we don't go off of what Esau DNA test says. This brother don't know what's going on. This is a conference where they, like you just heard them say, they have conventions. Not even really conference. These really be conventions. You know, where they doing indigenous, aboriginal conventions. So he don't know what's going on. So of course he believes in Esau DNA and things like that. I just have to clarify that as the video goes on. It's locked in.
And so he's one of, there's less than 5. And so he's one of the last living ones. So it's an honor to continue to be able to speak on the plight of the Taino people who have been transformed into what we know today as Puerto Ricans. And so if you are Puerto Rican or know Puerto Ricans, they come in all shades and colors. And that's because as their indigenous roots go, as Tainos, they were mixed with the Spanish conquistadors and African slaves. So I'm just going to run through a timeline for you.
Whoa. Now the scriptures say that the seed was mixed, right? And no brother can trace their seed all the way back, right? Just like how it would be crazy if somebody said none of our foremothers and forefathers were raped or anything like that, right? Now, were we mixed at a lower rate than other nations? I would have to say yes, and that can be proven. Why? Why would I say that based off the bat? Phenotype, right? Like he just said, they come in a lot of different shades and colors. Yes, we come in a lot of different shades and colors, but we're more of a common image, right? Like you know a Negro when you see him, right? You got some brothers that can pass for different nationalities, but for the most part, you know a Negro when you see him. I know Ephraimites and Manasseites that look like so-called Edomites, but their seed go back to the children of Israel. So you can't go off of color, right? Let's continue.
Which is a cross of a mixture of oral history and documented Spanish history.
And when he say mix, ain't no damn mix. They was raped, just like our forefathers and foremothers was raped. They was raped. That's how they mixed.
We'll end with an image of a little piece of documented U.S. history. So, as we know, when we learned in elementary school in 1492, when Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue,
That's right.
he hit the Caribbean first
Now, I was just certain thing
as
I wanted to show y'all. I don't want
what
to
they
get too
called
much,
the West
but
Indies, and saw indigenous people, which gave them the name Indians.
I want to just show y'all some particular that he brings out, because I don't want to get into too much because it had me going in all different types of history, and I just want to deal with certain things right now, right?
Hit Hispaniola in that region, which is modern day Dominican Republic and Haiti,
Yep.
and circled through southern Florida. So in 1493 was his second voyage to the New World, where he actually landed in Borinquen and Dominican Republic and Spain. So in 1500, so what happened was he comes back, shares all of this, and it catches the attention of the Spanish crown, who then commissioned Ponce de Leon to head back out there. He does and meets Cacique of Caciques, Aguevano. And Aguevana is the Cacique of Caciques, the chief of chiefs.
And all these names he's naming, we can go into them, family. And if your family, you can go into these on your own time. I'm just dealing with particular things at this time, okay? If you want me to go in that, you can make a request, and if I see it's a demand for that, we can go into that.
And as the story goes, he shows them the entire wealth. They're not what you would hear of like Aztec. Aguevana goes back to Aztecs or Mayans with temples and offerings for their gods, and so this is gold. Taino stands for the good people. They're not what you would hear of like Aztecs or Mayans with temples and sacrifice killings and things like that. They're not even.
Now, when he says that, he's talking about the culture. He's comparing culture, right? Because we know those are the same people, essentially. He's talking about the culture. And keep in mind, he doesn't know what's going on. And a lot of his information is predicated upon bad sources. Let me just say that, right?
A warrior race to that extent. So, wiping out of the Taino Indians.
Wiping out. How did they do that? Mass genocide.
In 1501, the Spanish crown then approves the export of slaves from Spain to the Americas, to all of their colonies in that area. And by 1508, 1510 is when colonization takes full flight. And so by 1509 is when they establish repartimientos. And essentially what that is indentured servitude. And it consisted of distributing among officials and colonists fixed numbers of Indians for wage-free and forced labor.
Wage-free and forced labor. They was tearing their ass. Hey, man, and this is this is why it's important, because it's a lot of Negro-only brothers, and I hate to put that name on it, but that they take pride in their name. That they act like this that this didn't happen, right? This is the same thing that happened to us. Forced labor. You hearing them, right? Let's continue, man.
And so the crown then instituted something called encomienda, which is supposed to replace repartimientos after priests were in an uproar about the treatment of these indigenous people. So Spain, being the colonizer, just rebranded slavery.
Right? Spain colonized the so-called Puerto Ricans, right? That's what that brother going into. Now, we go finish this off, right? But for now, that's it, right? Shalom, family. How about Shem Yahweh Shabbat Rakatham? Call halal. Until next time.